The feud with the HOA had been simmering for months, but it hit a breaking point when the president herself decided to park her shiny new luxury SUV right in my driveway. Not for a visit, not by accident, but as some kind of power play. See, I'd already clashed with her over ridiculous violations. She didn't like the color of my barn, said my American flag was too large, and even tried to fine me for my wife's flower beds being non-compliant. But this time, she decided to escalate. It was the morning of an important delivery. Supplies for my ranch, including fencing materials and feed for my livestock. When the truck pulled up, my driveway was blocked by her SUV. The driver called me, frustrated. And that's when I walked outside and saw her sitting in the car, smug as ever, sipping her iced latte. "Move your car," I said firmly. She smirked. "This is community property, and as HOA president, I have the right to be here. Maybe if you actually followed the rules, you wouldn't be in this position." Community property. That was rich. My driveway was clearly outlined on the deed, and it wasn't anywhere near HOA jurisdiction. She knew it too. This was just another stunt to try and remind me who's in charge. I gave her one last chance. "I'm asking politely. Move your car." She rolled her window up in my face. That was her mistake. I pulled out my phone, dialed my friend at the sheriff's department, and explained the situation. But while waiting for the deputy to arrive, I decided to make my own call to the local tow company. I knew them well, since I'd had to deal with abandoned vehicles before on my property. The tow truck showed up within 20 minutes, rumbling up the gravel driveway. When the driver saw where the SUV was parked, he just nodded and said, "Blocking access. That's an easy hook." The look on Karen's face when the tow driver started backing up his truck was priceless. She jumped out of her SUV, screaming that this was illegal and harassment. But the tow driver calmly pointed to the posted signs on my property. "Unauthorized vehicles will be towed at owner's expense." Karen tried to stand in front of her SUV to block the tow, but that's when the deputy arrived. He stepped out of his cruiser, listened to my side, checked the deed records I had on hand, and then turned to Karen. "Ma'am, this isn't HOA property. You're trespassing. Step aside or you'll be cited." Her jaw dropped. "I'm the HOA president, and I'm the sheriff's deputy," he shot back. "Move." With no choice, she stepped back, shrieking as the tow driver hooked up her precious SUV and hauled it down the road. I signed the paperwork, and the tow truck took it straight to the impound lot. The cherry on top? She had to pay nearly $500 in towing and storage fees to get it back. And because she called 911 during the incident claiming I was threatening her, the deputy filed a report documenting her false claim. That little stunt earned her a formal warning from the county. When the story spread, the neighborhood exploded with laughter. The president of the HOA, who prided herself on controlling everyone else, had her own car towed for trespassing. She lost face with the entire board, and I gained a new nickname from my neighbors, the Towmaster. From that day on, the HOA stopped trying to flex their power on me. No more fines, no more bogus notices, no more driveway stunts. Karen avoided me like the plague, probably terrified of what might happen the next time she pushed her luck. And me? I finally got some peace and quiet on my ranch. Every time I looked at my clean driveway, I couldn't help but smile, remembering the sight of her precious SUV being dragged away while she screamed at the top of her lungs. Sometimes justice doesn't come from the courtroom, it comes from a tow truck.